Welcome to the night before Friday. Friday is actually going to be a great day to trade. We're talking about Friday, the 20th of February. I apologize. My screen's got me kind of fuzzy, but hopefully I'll be clear in what I'm going to present to you. I'm going to do the trade signal reveal. These trade signals are for tomorrow, the 20th of February, of Friday. And they're going to be kind of, well, it's a good signal. Actually, I just have one for you. It's a good signal. I'm going to follow up on some of the others. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Last time we talked about these two trades, buying CCL and selling short Norwegian cruise lines, right? Well, that was an interesting take, I think, on cruise line opportunities, but we've got something better for you. Now, I'm going to show you how these turned out. I'm going to go to my screen here and just show you today's profit target and the stock. All right, sorry. This is CENX. They're a cement company, right? You're thinking, what? Boring cement company? Yeah, boring cement company is going to make you money in an exciting way. I'm going to explain this. 2 days ago, when I was doing my last reveal episode, this signal came up. Buy this stock at $49.70 and hold on all the way until it gets to 57, a $7.43 move up. You're only going to need to give it a $2.39 stop loss. Now, there's never any guarantee that the trade's going to win, but Edgefinder gives out signals that have a statistical better than random probability. At least historically, that's the way they have performed. And so these are the kind of signals I like to bring. It's like, hey, here's a great trade. Now, the problem was they were going to do earnings the next day. And I figured, well, we need to let earnings volatility shake out. And then after that, we can jump in using these same numbers, but at a different entry price. So the same stop loss and the same take profit, but an entry price that's well adjusted to whatever happens the next day. And that's what we have here. Here's what CENX looked like a couple of days ago. And Edgefinder was saying, buy the stock at this level right here. Well, it turned out that might have been a pretty good thing to do because it's just gone up the next couple of days. And we just did earnings, and earnings, well, earnings look like they're bad news, right? But no, people bought the stock anyway. And that's because this stock is, let's see if I can get the chart of it up. Yeah. So earnings came out today after the market closed. And so CENX is I apologize, folks. Having a little technical difficulty here. Yeah, okay. So the news doesn't look good. You would expect that this stock should have been crashing. In fact, right when it first came out, it dropped clear down to 47, but it's already all the way back up to 52, to right in that range. So here's my idea. We take the setup from a couple of days ago and we apply it to right now. Now, I've done this before at certain times. I only do it now when I feel like that is going to be a persistent edge because of market conditions. Look at these technicals and analyst ratings. We've got both the technical and fundamentals saying this stock is either a buy or a strong buy. Fundamentalists, wow. But meanwhile, even after hearing sort of bad news, that is, they missed their estimates. It's not like they're not making money. They're just a little surprising they didn't make as much as people expected. Now, in today's market, if one of the big Mag 7 stocks were to come out with a number like that, they'd be down. People would be selling them like crazy. But in the basic materials, the building and construction materials companies, the market seems to love them right now. And so this is just another example of why you've got news, an excuse to sell the stock, but people didn't, or at least in the after hours, they didn't. They did for a little bit, but they bought it right back up. And so I'm suggesting the play is $52 or lower. Get in at $52 or lower. Set your stop loss $2.43 lower than wherever it is that you buy, and hang on for $7.50 higher. That's the setup, and I think it's going to be a good one. If you like doing the kind of trading where you get into a stock and you just kind of sit back and hold and let it go, well, this could be that kind of stock for you. A lot of people don't like the idea of, I want to buy and then immediately turn around and sell. But let me explain something to you. If you have a trading system that has an edge to it, a statistical edge to it, that's like you being able to beat the casinos. There's a wonderful story. I mentioned this last time we were talking, but I wanted to show you. If you go on to YouTube and you just type in Don Johnson Casino, this is what you're going to get, is stuff that looks like this. And then if you click on one of them, any one of them tells pretty much the same story. It gets into the details. It's not just some guy who walked in and won billions on, a handle pull or something. No, this guy was an industry expert. He understood betting. He understood gambling. He understood the game of blackjack. And there were casinos back about 10 years ago that were really struggling in Atlantic City because of the market dynamics that were happening, the gaming market at that time. And they were trying to invite whales, guys that were already pretty wealthy, would sit down at the $100,000 table. That was Don. And they tried to get him to come in, and they offered him, they started offering him incentives. Hey, if you come, we'll let you play special rules. You can play XYZ. And they started telling him some of the rules, and he realized, hey, these guys don't know what they're doing. They're giving me an edge. I wonder if I could make a contract with them to get it in writing that they have to play the game that way. And so he does a little research, and you can follow this story. The point is, he gets a written contract so that certain rules apply to him. Not only can he split two of a kind, but he could split it into four if those trades came up. So he could create a bet that was huge. And if he wins that bet, of course, he walks away. Well, the thing is, he needed to have a series of adjustments. And all of these things he calculated with his mathematician buddies to come up with a system that would eventually beat the house. And the house didn't seem to know it at the time. And so he goes in and he makes agreements with 3 different casinos, and he goes up and down a little bit, and then he trends higher and higher. And over the course of 3 months, he gets what he came for. He ends up winning about $15 million over the course of 3 months, $5 million on average from 3 different casinos. And yeah, they banned him for life, but it wasn't because he cheated. It wasn't because he did anything at all against the rules. In fact, he got it in writing that they had to play by these rules because they said they would. And they were happy to let him come in because they did the math wrong. They thought that he was just going to end up giving them a bunch of money because he's a high roller and he's got the money and he's a gambler and he's going to lose it, right? but they didn't realize that he had done math better than they had. Well, that's what Edgefinder is. This software that I get these picks from, I get 100 picks a day, and I pull out a couple of them just to show you what they are. Now, if you want to figure out, your own picks from Edgefinder, you can. Just go to myedgefinder.com, look over the demo video that we've got there, sign up, subscribe, and start doing this yourself. But I'm showing to you a couple of picks that came up from Edgefinder from a couple of days ago. These were the cruise lines: buy Carnival, sell Norwegian. Okay, now both of these, as it turns out, have gone down over the past couple of days. Let's look at this. Here was the CCL, the Carnival Cruise Line. It only had about a 32% probability, but Edgefinder calculated that there was actually a 43% probability. Hey, now, this is still a trade you're more likely to lose. But notice that that green area is a lot bigger than the pink area. So the idea is that when you win double size. And a double size win with a 43% chance of winning, that's really an edge. That's an edge the market doesn't know it's giving you. And that's what we do. We try to find these kind of trades. Yeah, we're going to lose a few, but if we do enough of these, eventually we move forward, we win, just like the Don guy. We can end up winning and improving our account very significantly. Now, how has this trade played out? Well, a couple of days, here's what's going on. The trade opened up, and if in fact we bought CCL way up there, well, then we'd be really down on it. Truth is, though, that when it opened up, that's the area we would have bought, and so this whole thing kind of shifts down. This trade is sitting on right now about a 50% probability of winning or of losing or of getting back to break even. This looks a lot worse than it is. However, even if we took it from this point of view, it's not stopped out yet. I've been so surprised. Sometimes you see a stock like this and it turns around, it comes up. You just never know. Meanwhile, the other side of the trade was Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. And this was a trade set up to say, if you can get a price from, Thursday, if you can get a price, Wednesday, on Wednesday, that is above 24.60 or so, then you'll want to get in and go short or buy a put option. And if you do that, then when the price comes clear down here to 23.5, you take your profit. How has it played out? This thing played out amazingly. Now, it kind of looks like it went all the way up and hit its profit target all in one day. No, it didn't do that. It opened up and went down, and then it went all the way up, and it hit our entry point. Since hitting the entry point, it is clear down to here. So this thing now has about a 75% chance that it's going to take profit before it even, were to retreat back to break even, if in fact it ever did. So that's an interesting trade. Hasn't closed yet, but it's well on its way to winning. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about, though. If in fact you win just a little bit more than randomness, over time, you end up beating the casino. Here's another trade I took. This one Edgefinder helped me out with in a little bit of a different way. Edgefinder has this way of identifying a dead zone. Don't take any trades in here. But if you're above the dead zone, go short. If you're below the dead zone, go long. And look for places where you could get a good potential for a turn and try getting long at those places. So I was watching Google doing this trade, watching it in real time, and I identified that this level right here might be a good place to try to get long. And so I bought the 218, that is the 0 DTE, the option that expired on Wednesday, 302.50 call option. I bought it for 60 cents at the time stamp, 14.40, right there, right? Well, it went down and down and down. And when I got to here, I was watching, it's 15:27. So a little more than a half an hour left before the market closes. And the price of this thing was 7 cents. So it started at 60. I don't have a stop loss. I'm going to go all the way to zero on this. If I'm either going to lose it or I'm going to win it. When it got down to 7 cents, I realized, that is such an excellent price, because all it would take is $1 for this thing to get back up and be in the money. So I added to the trade and bought some at 67. Well, within about a half an hour, a little less than a half an hour, it was all the way up to there, and I was able to sell it for 63 cents. The ones I bought at 60, I sold at 63. That's a little bit, but this one was fantastic. I bought it at 7 and sold it at 63. Now, these might sound like small numbers, and it's true. If you just buy one contract, then that is, $60 you're risking, or in this case, 7. So if you buy 2 of them, you're in it for $67. But at the end of it, they're both worth 63 together. So that's $1.26. You buy a $67 option, and within an hour total, half an hour from the last one, it's doubled your money. That's how that trade worked out. This is the little zero DTE system. Zero DTEs are just now coming out. And the problem, at least the problem for the markets, with the zero DTE system is they don't have a good way of protecting themselves against whipsaw moves at the end of the market. Option experts will call this gamma risk, but I call it opportunity. Opportunity for the little guy to jump in and try a little bit of this. Now, you don't have to be little either. I mean, hey, you put on 20 contracts of 60 cents and you're going to spend 1,200. Then you put on, another 20 at 7 cents, and it's just going to be another 140 added to that. And when it's all said and done, you're going to make about $1,500 profit from that. That kind of size is no problem. There's enough market makers out there that will be happy to take your order, even at 20 contract sizes. So whatever size you are as an individual trader, this trade could have worked for you. These zero DTE trades are working on the premise that the markets are trying to offer a new product. They're not quite sure mathematically how to make it work. It's going to work for most of the time for them, but for people who, like Don Johnson, the blackjack player, who understand the math, you can get a significant edge. Using the Edgefinder signals late in the day for trades on zero DTE options so far has yielded very interesting results. And if you're interested in trying to find out more about that, or maybe even watch me trade it live, I just received word today, Quasar Markets is going to create a situation where I'm going to be able to trade this system live, and you're going to be able to watch for free. But you got to send me a DM and let me know that you're interested so I can put you on the list to invite. I'm easy to contact either on X or LinkedIn, Gordon Scott CMT. Looking forward to hearing from you. And as I said, if you're interested to learn more about the technology that gives me these fantastic trading signals, check out myedgefinder.com. Tell everyone, and until next time, everyone, take care and trade well.